Evening everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening, 27th of February, and tonight is the night. Tonight is tomato seed sowing night. Very exciting. Always for me signifies closeness to spring. So yeah, let's flick the camera around and have a look as the varieties I'm going to be doing this year. Okay, let's have a look, shall we? Well, I'll get this out of the way first, because whilst this isn't a tomato, it's a tomatillo, very much like a tomato, but meant to be easier. I've never tried them before, but I'm going to give them a go. So, similar, but not quite. Tomatoes, here we go. So, starting with the smaller guys first. New variety for me is Honeycomb. It's a golden variety. Has got decent disease resistance to it. Very sweet. It's meant to be. Saw them growing a couple of years ago when I went to pack trials, and honestly forgot about them until I saw someone saying them or growing them last year. So I've grabbed some of those for this year. Consuelo, I think that's how you could pronounce it. This is typically, I know I hate the phrase, this is typically sold as a vine tomato. I know all tomatoes fruit and grow on a vine, but this one, ripens fairly consistently at a consistent rate on the vine, so you don't end up with colour variation throughout. Again, nice grower, compact in terms of neatness, I suppose, and all very uniform fruits with the calyx flicking upwards. Again, you can see good disease resistance, and that's what it's been about for the last few years really, is just trying to find some good disease resistant varieties, because I grow all my tomatoes outdoors and I don't want them to succumb to blight. So that's those. This one, again, I've been keeping tabs on this for a little while, not grown it before, but very excited to see how it does. So this is this Burpees long keeper, and the thought or the story behind this is that actually when they're picked, the fruits will last for months, like literally months. So yeah, you should be able to pick them end of tomato season and still have viable fruits, not rotting, for about December. Now that's got to be a game changer. So yeah, going to be trying that one. Bloody Butcher. So these are my seeds still from last year. It was a really good grower. It is a heritage type, but I don't know, I'm always a bit at odds with heritage varieties, because yes, I get it, the fruit flavour is great, but generally disease resistance is not as good. However, Bloody Butcher did perform very well last year. It was nice and vigorous, and consistency of the fruit was also very good, so doing that one. Koralik, so this is a small cherry one, again grew it last year, gets absolutely smothered, went absolutely crazy. Plants got to about 5.5 6 foot tall. I did actually manage to grow one in a compact can, only about 18 inches, but yeah, masses of small fruits, really sweet, and again got good blight resistance. So that's the smaller guys. Then we got the plum tomato. So this one is San Marzano, great variety, best variety for doing authentic passatas, as it produces next to no fruit, next to no seed, sorry. The only downside which I have found the last couple of years is that it does suffer from blossom end rot, and that is really because certainly last year we didn't have the consistent weather to allow the fruits to develop quick enough as they would do on the continent, and the plant seems to struggle with sustaining that whole fruit, because the fruits themselves, they are a massive plum, so really good, but does have that slight issue. Roma, this has always been my go-to #1 plum variety. It probably still is, because as I say, I get issues with the blossom end rot on that, because they're grown outdoors. But Roma, so prolific, so good, great flavour as well. So 2 types done. On to the big boys now. So not grown this variety before, but again, seen other people growing it for quite some time. Costoluto Fiorentino, a nice authentic Italian variety, big but not overly big, but it's bred for flavour, so it has got good flavour, and look at that, you can grow it outdoors, so that's what I'm on about. So picking winners for me, really. Super Marmande, grown this for years, always been a go-to variety for me for the beefsteak ones, just because the flavouring is so good. It is such a good variety. It does have a tendency with erratic weather conditions to split to the top, but generally speaking, it doesn't split all the way through, so it's still viable as a fruit, but the size is good and the flavour is amazing, so they're good to go. I'll leave that for one moment. Big Daddy, so the last 2 years I've tried this, and I was actually really surprised. Sold it at the garden centre for a long time. I mean, this is an old variety, been around for, well, forever almost. I've never grown it. Grew it 2 years ago and it did so well, so got some more last year, and it originally came from these witch trials on the Witch magazine, and so good. So yeah, very good. It says there, see, look, grow in a greenhouse, but it can be in a sheltered sunny spot outside. So for me, I grow it outside, literally the other side of those wallings, so not the most sheltered, but it does perform very well. Now, all you can see on that, giant tomato. It has I can't remember what the name is, I have to look it up, but this is some seed that has been sent to me from the Giant Veg guys, and yeah, I'm going to give those a try this year. The last few years I've done Giganto Tomo, which was a very good variety, got some good sizing on it, but I found that the sizing only came by way of the fact that you had to strip most of the other fruits off if you wanted something truly big. Whereas this is an own bred variety from say Giant Veg, and it's, well, they've managed to get some good sizing on it whilst retaining multiple fruits to each plant. So yeah, really sort of quite looking forward to doing that this year. So let's pop those on the side and we'll talk seed trays. So this year I'm using these trays, which they're made by Westland. It's the Groshaw ones, made of recycled plastic. The thing that I like in particular with these, well, one, they're clear so you can see the root formation, but let's get up here, so offer it up. They are about 20-25% deeper than what were my standard seed trays, which incidentally were also Westland ones, but these are very good. I've had some sweet peas growing in them, and say just gives you that extra depth for a sweet pea. And because we know that tomatoes are very vigorous, hungry plants, the extra capacity of that cell is going to be all important, I think. So stage now we're at, let's get quite a few of those filled. get some labels written out for the varieties, and then we'll start seed sowing. Okay, so I've looked up the variety, and it's the memorable name of 9.44 LaRue. There you have it. Another one to sow. Right, so these are the trays, all filled up, been watered, allowed to settle for half an hour, and been in here to warm up as well whilst I've been doing the labels. Yeah, and here's a label already in there. So this is from seed that I've saved. Now, all I'm going to be doing is doing one row of each variety and a multi-sow, because generally I think that seed is cheap enough, certainly if you've saved your own, it's cheap enough that you can afford to multi-sow, knowing that then each cell will have viable plants germinating from them. And obviously in this one, because I've saved the seed, I'm going to put even more in there. I'll pop that label back in, seal it, find my written out label. Where have I stuck that? There it is. Big Daddy. Pop that in there. And that's the first one done. And just work my way through, and we'll fill one tray and then have a look. So here, Super Marmande. It's one of those really fiddly packs. Here we are. But when I say to you, you know, seed is cheap, you look how much seed is in there, and you're talking about £3.50 to £4 for some of these varieties. Strangely enough, at the moment, things like Gardener's Delight is very expensive because there's a shortage of seed within the UK, because the batches of seed are no longer passing the import regulations. So because of that, that's driven up the price of some of the other varieties that are not necessarily seed produced in the UK. So let's find Super Marmande. There we are. And that's, yeah, we'll just work our way across. So that's the first tray filled, all the labels are in there. Now, when I'm sowing my chili peppers, let's have a look at you. When I'm sowing chili peppers, I just do a covering of vermiculite over the top, but that's chili peppers. Tomatoes, they do better when they're covered a little bit more with compost, and because they produce their roots all the way down the stem, and you'll notice that once your plants start growing. So because of that, when we've done the seed sowing, we then get a little bit more compost just over the top, take you up to the top of the seed tray level, and that would just mean that as the seeds germinate, the roots will have something to bind into, because they will start trying to produce their little advantageous roots from early on. So first tray done, get the others done now. There we are. So that's 11 varieties of tomato in their trays, in the propagator. Time to get that lid on and get them cooking, and well, hopefully come back and see them in I don't know, week, 10 days time. See you soon. Right, Tuesday 5th of March, 1 week on from seed sowing, and I thought I'd show you what's occurring. Let's put that down there. Now these are all the tomatoes, and you can see that actually got germination on everything, which is really good. So I mean, some are obviously a bit slower than others, exhibit A, but generally speaking they're all up. So now the cover can come off of those ones, and yeah, let them get some full light and, well, cool down a little bit. So still keep the propagator on the heat, but without the top on, it allow the foliage to be a little bit cooler, so you won't get so much stretching. So here we are, 2 weeks on from seed sowing. Day off. Obviously it's raining, which is why I've come to the greenhouse. But you can see that there's seed germination in every cell, which is good, which is what we want. Multiple plants have come up, which then means that in another week or so's time, I can then start culling some of the weaker plants to just leave one plant per cell. Good example would be this one. So we've got a decent plant there. This one showing signs where it's not quite right, so you can whip that out, and that would just leave one good plant per cell. Now the leaves that are here, these are the first set of leaves, so seedling leaves or cotyledons. They're not true leaves, so that's why I tend to wait until we get to the first set of true leaves, because then you can actually check that the seedling is growing correctly and not going to be what they call blind, which means that it will only produce the first set of cotyledon leaves and then essentially do nothing more. Now that little section there, that little sprout, that is the first set of true leaves that are forming. So once we've got the first set of true leaves that you know, where you can see them popping out, then you know the seedling is going to be growing fine and nothing to worry about. So essentially that is starting off tomato plants, and that's that. That is how to grow tomato plants from seeds. Quite straightforward. They do benefit from having heated propagator, because the seeds themselves, really they want a temperature of around about 12-14 degrees as a minimum to get them germinating, and one of those propagator units generally runs at about 18 degrees. If you've got an adjustable propagator unit, even better. But so generally speaking, you know, with good fresh seeds, particularly things like tomatoes, then you'll get your germination within that week. So so quite straightforward up to this point. If you've got any questions though, then obviously send those questions to me. I'll do my very best to answer those for you. If you do like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on the future videos that I'm doing. And above all else, I always say it, but it's so true, just enjoy what you're doing, have some fun, try something different, whether that's a new variety or a different way to do it, even if it's just, as I've done, trying a different type of cell tray or seed tray to use, just so you can broaden your knowledge and working out if there's something that might work better for you than your current method. So till next time, enjoy the sun when it turns up, and take care. Bye for now.